to let you know. I'm just gonna mute you. All right, so welcome anyone out there on YouTube who's coming live with us. I'm just gonna mute my speakers, and I'm gonna mute you so we don't get any feedback, and let's do the meditation. Okay, can unmute yourself if you need to, but I've muted you. I'm gonna mute my speakers. There we go. Okay.
I just unmuted myself to tell you you're already, it's very bad. That's why I volunteered to mute myself and no one else, because then the sound goes very bad.
Okay, so welcome everyone to this Sunday evening meditation. There's a discussion session afterwards if you want to stick around. First, let's do the meditation. So just putting your phone on mute or silent for the next 20 minutes or so. Finding a place where you're not going to be disturbed, sitting comfortably, each shoulder width apart. Back reasonably straight, cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. Start by taking a nice deep breath in. Through the nose, into the lower stomach. And filling up your middle chest, your heart center, into the upper chest, into the head. The maximum inhale breath. Just pause at the top of the inhale. And just do a little scan of your mind. So just noticing any obviously distracting thoughts or emotions. Generally anything about the past, the future, fall into that category. And the emotions that go with them. So maybe there's a bit of anxiety about something, a grievance, some resentment. And notice how that shows up in your body. It can show up as a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, dryness of your mouth, sweaty palms, nausea, the extreme panic attack. We'll talk about fear in this evening's discussion session. So having noticed all of this, just choose to let it go. And to help you do that, just exhale. Full deep exhale out your mouth. Imagine you just blowing it out like a dark grey or black smoke out of your mouth. Completely emptying yourself. Imagine it's leaving your entire energy system, your body. It's really an energy system. Just dissipating into nothingness that it always was, still is. Find some peace at the bottom of the exhale. Remind yourself there's really nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about. For the next 20 minutes, just breathe, relax and be still. So to start with, I'm just going to guide you through a little practice period, just to read lesson 231, the preliminary section from for these 10 lessons we're busy with in the Course in Miracles. One workbook, lesson 240. So this is about what is salvation. So So to prepare yourself, just connect with your breath. So breathing in through your nose, notice how the stomach rises. Notice how the chest rises. Pause at the top of the inhale. Find the stillness. Imagine your mind is like an empty vessel, just really open and receptive, just waiting to receive these ideas. When you exhale, sigh it all out, making a little sighing sound in the back of your throat. Notice how the chest and the stomach suck back in. And again, notice the stillness at the bottom of the exhale. And then just repeat the process. In your own time, you're breathing in. Just paying attention to the stomach rising, the chest rising, subtle flow of air into your nostrils. Connect with the stillness and the gap between inhale and exhale. It's a little portal to eternity and infinity. When you exhale, you sigh it all out. Make a little sighing sound at the back of your throat. Notice how the chest and the stomach suck back in. And again, come to rest at the bottom of the exhale. So just allowing the breath just to happen to you, through you, and for you. There's no conscious effort or strain involved. Completely opposite of the ego's normal program of stressing, straining, and striving. You just step back and you watch your breath. And notice how peaceful that is. Just stepping back and watching. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anywhere. There are no responsibilities or obligations. Just be in the stillness. And just let these words just permeate into your awareness. So you don't try and intellectually understand them, evaluate them, judge them, interpret them in any way. Just allow them to seep in, and they will go into a deeper part of your mind, your subconscious mind, where they are most helpful. You're going to start undoing some deep-seated beliefs about what you think you are, what reality is. So the topic of this little section is, what is salvation? Keep watching your breath as you listen in the way that I've just asked you to. So let the words seep into your awareness. Salvation is a promise made by God that you would find your way to Him at last. It cannot but be kept. It guarantees that time will have an end, and all the thoughts that have been born in time will end as well. God's word is given every mind which thinks that it has separate thoughts, and will replace these thoughts of conflict with the thought of peace. So just connect with that thought and take it a bit deeper. It's a felt experience. It's not just a thought. It's felt in your mind, in your body. Just feel this peace just washing over you. With each breath, just sinking a little bit deeper. Going deeper and deeper into the peace. With each breath. And just keep watching your breath. Just noticing. The stomach rises, the chest rises. Subtle flow of air into the nostrils. Pause, find the stillness. When you exhale, there's that subtle sighing sound in the back of your throat. Chest and stomach suck back in. And let this take you into peace, this deep diaphragmatic rhythmical breathing. As we continue with this section. So the thought of peace was given to God's Son, or love's extension, if you prefer that language. The instant that his mind had thought of war. There was no need for such a thought before. For peace was given without opposite, and merely was. When the mind is split, there is a need of healing. So the thought that has the power to heal the split became a part of every fragment of the mind. It still was one, but failed to recognize its oneness. Now it did not know itself, and thought its own identity was lost. Just pause, reflect on the ideas. Which is the saying that we've lost ourselves. Lost ourselves in a false idea, just created a false world, have a false identity, and we feel lost. Salvation is just waking up to who we really are, what reality really is. So let's continue with the lesson. So you keep watching your breath, just letting it connect you with this deep peace and stillness in your mind, just going deeper and deeper with each breath. Salvation is undoing in the sense that it does nothing, failing to support the world of dreams and malice. Thus it lets illusions go. By not supporting them, merely lets them quietly go down to dust. And what they hid is now revealed, an altar to the holy name of God, whereon his word is written, with the gifts of your forgiveness laid before it, and the memory of God, or love if you prefer. You can always substitute the word God for love, capital L, and this memory of God or love not far behind. So let us come daily to this holy place and spend a while together. Here we share our final dream. It is a dream in which there is no sorrow. It holds the hint of all glory given us by God. The grass is pushing through the soil. Trees are budding them. And birds have come to live within their branches. Earth is being born again in new perspective. Night has gone, and we have come together in the light. So take a nice deep breath in. And the nose filling up your stomach. Imagine this brilliant golden or white light flowing into your stomach, blowing it up like a light balloon. Second phase of the breath into the heart center. Feel this light and this life energy flowing into that, expanding throughout your chest. And take a final sip of air into the head. And the mind is very clear, calm, open, aware. Just connecting with the peace, this deep peace in your mind. Feeling the light encompassing you. Every cell and every muscle in your body is infused with it. and extends into your mind. From this place of light, we give salvation to the world. It is here salvation was received. Song of our rejoicing is the call to all the world. Freedom is returned. That time is almost over. And God's Son, love's extension, is but an instant more to wait until his Father, his source, is remembered. Dreams are done. Eternity has shined away the world. And only heaven now exists at all. As you exhale, just blowing away these illusions, these dreams of time and space and form. It's really the attachment to these things in your mind that needs to go. Imagine you just releasing all of that like dark grey or black smoke out of your mouth. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. I just feel like resting in this peace of salvation. In which no fear, no negativity can enter. So having prepared yourself, just going to move straight into lesson 240. Take another nice deep breath in. Just breathing in the light again, golden and white light flowing into the stomach, heart center. Feel this life energy rising up as well into the upper head. Imagine your whole body being encompassed by this light, so there's a golden or white light aura around you. And then just drop lesson 240 into this still, calm, light awareness. Fear is not justified in any form. Fear is not justified in any form. It's quite a statement. There are many things in this world that seem to justify fear. But no form, nothing in this world, in other words, is a justification for fear. So notice again any fear thoughts, any emotions, any anxiety that goes along with those thoughts. Fear very often shows up as a kind of knot in our stomach. It's really just deep kind of uncomfortable existential feeling like something's deeply wrong. Connect with that. Notice it. Notice how it shows up in your body. Notice how it feels as an experience. And now just release it with the breath. Imagine you just blowing it out like a black smoke out of your mouth. And it's leaving out of every pore of your skin, out of every cell and every muscle of your body. Just release it. So you're finding some freedom. Freedom beyond fear. Rest in this beautiful light awareness for a few moments. And then just breathe in again. So breathing in through the nose. Notice how the stomach rises. Chest rises. Subtle flow of air into your nostrils. Breathing the light in again. Just pause briefly at the top. Find the stillness, feel the light, presence. Just expanding throughout your mind, enveloping your body. And then exhale. Just make a little sighing sound. It's called the Ujjayi sound. Yoga. If you've done any yoga, you'll know what I mean. Just keep your mouth closed. You contract your throat as though you're fogging sunglasses, and then chest and stomach just subside back in. As almost like a wave just breaking, sighing back into the ocean. Find the stillness again. So just keep breathing in that nice, deep rhythmical pattern. Inhale, watch the breath. Notice subtle sensations of the breath. Pause, find the stillness for a second or two, and then exhale. Sigh it all out. And each breath take you deeper and deeper, you more and more relaxed. And now just let these words, this very short commentary on this profound idea in today's lesson, to just drop in, just let it sink in to your awareness. Fear is deception. It attests that you have seen yourself as you could never be, and therefore look upon a world which is impossible. Not one thing in this world is true. It does not matter what the form in which it may appear. It witnesses but to your own illusions of yourself. Let us not be deceived today. We are the sons of God. We are the extensions of love's presence. There is no fear in us, for we are each a part of love itself. So watch your breath again. Drop your attention into your heart center. Just typically where we feel love most. Maybe you feel a warm, tingling sensation there. Just connect with it deeply. Maybe it spreads up into your chest with the breath, and into your head, smile. Just get a little taste of what it means to be fearless. Just a little glimpse. You can always have your fear back after the session. Just for now, just allow yourself to immerse yourself into this fearless state. So we're going to close the meditation with a minute's silence. Just prepare yourself for this with this little prayer. And then sink into it. No words, just pure experience of this fearless presence. You say to yourself, how foolish are my fears? Would I allow, and would you allow, you're addressing God, the source of your mind, your son, your extension, to suffer? Give us faith today to recognize your son, your extension, and set him free. Let us forgive him in your name, that we may understand his holiness and feel the love for him, which is your own as well. And with that prayer, just let go completely, just sink in to this deeper part of your mind that's way beyond fear. Let the breath just take you there. Remind yourself there's nothing to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about. The next minute, just breathe, relax, be still, sink into this fearless place, deep in your mind. Allow love to reveal itself. the next minute of silence. So just gently coming back. Same way we entered the meditation, you're going to come out of it. So just noticing your breath again, the stomach rise, chest rise. As you inhale, notice the subtle flow of air into your nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. Find the stillness. And then you exhale. Just sighing it all out. Just letting it all go. Notice the sighing sound, the vibration in your throat, in your chest, stomach, just sucking back in. Pause at the bottom of the exhale, connect with the stillness. So that's 1. On the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 2, just noticing what your body's feeling, the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, feet touching the ground, noticing the weight of your body, what you're touching and feeling. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth. You can very seldom notice these things, so just notice the smell in your nose, subtle flow of air on your skin. Notice the sounds in your environment. Just subtle sounds, ticking of a clock, whirring of a computer fan, crickets in the background, birds, sounds of nature if you can hear them, traffic in the distance. And notice when you notice these things like this, in a place of peace, of fearless presence, and everything's pretty peaceful. There's no attempt to judge or label or interpret, analyze, evaluate any of it. You don't have to. Just allow these sense perceptions to arise, and then they subside. Come and they go. They're like cloud patterns just blowing through the mind. Form, they're there for a while, and they disappear, which means they can't be real. What is real is your true awareness. It's like the eternal sky. It's unaffected by the clouds and any cloud patterns and any weather patterns. It's always there. It's this blue sky. It's the blue sky of your mind. So just connect with that. Feel that presence. In that presence, there's no fear. And fear isn't justified in any form, because there's no fear in that presence, and that presence is ultimate reality. And so, 3, opening your eyes, just take a minute just to look around, noticing whatever you happen to notice, let your eyes rest on objects in the room, wherever you happen to be, randomly. Move on to a couple of seconds. Again, there's no mental activity. You're not trying to judge or label or perceive, interpret. Just allow them to be. Notice how peaceful it is when you do that. So what you're doing is you're training your mind to stay in this very peaceful, fearless state, resetting your default mode to this fearless base state of peace, the ground of being, it's called. And this is the enlightened state. And so whatever comes, whatever shows up in your perception, doesn't have the power to negatively impact you. Doesn't have the power to make you fear. Because you have no judgment of it. And this is the work of a lifetime. It's not a quick, easy thing to master, but every time you do a meditation, every time you do a breath break, you are practicing, you're training your mind to start perceiving in a very different way. And that is the only way out of the ego's fear-based perceptions, is to retrain your mind to perceive differently. There is no other way. So to help you to stay in this fearless state, just keep watching your breath throughout the session, if you're in the session, if you're on YouTube or in a WhatsApp group, and you're going to leave us, then just watch your breath. Just make this a practice. And all it takes is a minute or two every hour. Just drop in to the state, reconnect with this presence through your breath, close your eyes, and just remind yourself as you breathe in, fear is not justified in any form. Feel the presence that hopefully you've connected to quite deeply over the last half an hour. And then as you exhale, just blow out any negative thoughts. Just letting them all go. The breath. And then connect with the emptiness, the stillness, the fearlessness that lie beyond all your thoughts and all fearful emotions. So use this idea in your breath frequently, ideally every hour. And if you happen to get upset, disturbed by anything, just use it in immediate response to that temptation, which is what it is. And that should keep you in a very fearless and peaceful state. Set you up for a good week ahead. So thank you for listening. If you're in the YouTube group, stick around. We're doing a discussion session. You're most welcome to stay. If you're in WhatsApp, I'm going to bid you good night and hope to connect with you during one of the meditations tomorrow. Just to give you the times, quick heads up on that. Times are 12:30 UK, 1:30 South African time. Afternoon meditation, that's typically about 20 minutes. And then evening meditation is a bit longer, 25 to 30 minutes. That's happening at 5 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. SA time. So, thank you again for joining. Thanks for listening to the meditation. And I wish you a very peaceful evening. Stay.
Yeah.
And if you're on YouTube, you want to stick around, we're doing a little discussion session. So stay with us. Right. Okay, so let's unmute. So Carol, do you want to unmute yourself? There we go. Did you fall off your chair? Hopefully not.
I'm in the bed. I went into another deep one.
Okay. Did you just sit upright?
Yes.
Yeah.
My legs
Yeah, that's quite a nice meditation posture, actually. I use it.
It's
just
the one I always do. Lotus.
Yeah. You just, yeah, okay. So you sit in lotus on the bed.
Yes.
And you support your back against the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a nice posture because you're sort of supported by the bed. It's a bit cushioned, so your rear end doesn't get too sore.
Yeah, much better.
You've got a wall to support your back. So, you know, these yogis, they sit in lotus. I'm impressed you can do lotus because I can't. It's and I think my legs are too big. But the idea is to keep the back straight.
Yes.
So that you can raise the energy up, the Kundalini energy up the spine, which is the whole idea of meditations, to bring that sort of trapped life energy into the head and the crown. And when that happens,
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll walk out thinking that I've got a head start in life when I've finished my meditation.
That you've got a
head start in life.
Yeah, head start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you raise the energy up. So with all this breathing, I'm always saying, feel the energy rising up, coming up from the lower stomach and spine. Typically, it rises up the spine, and often you can feel it. There's a kind of tingling sensation.
Yeah, I have had.
Up the spine.
But
Sort of a heat.
I was breathing and then I disappeared into this trance thing.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Breathing. Yeah.
That's okay. It means you went quite deep.
Yeah, it's very.
What I've learned is just don't judge your meditations, because everyone's different. They have exactly the same experience.
Yeah.
So it's just it is what it is, and that was what it was meant to be. If you're doing it, you get what you need. And sometimes if you're more tired, your mind's tired, your body's tired, you can actually kind of drop into a very deep state, like a delta state, and it's almost like a power nap. You just go, for however long, 10, 15 minutes. Sometimes I've gone really deep, and you come out and it's like, whoa, it's like it takes a few minutes to reorient, because you've been, in this deep sleep, basically. It's a delta state.
But it's funny how you are like a zombie when you come out. You are sort of very...
Yeah, so you've been in a different
so
reality.
Relaxed. Yeah, you're so relaxed.
So it takes you, sometimes a little while to reorient. That's why you always come out of it. I give you 5 minutes to come out of it and just kind of, come back into sense perceptions. And that's the ideal time to start training your perception. Because then you're in this peaceful state.
I was gone. I just heard you say, Carol, unmute yourself. I was
really?
gone.
Right.
I don't know where I was. Yeah. I didn't even hear you telling me to breathe or anything. I was gone.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I had a feeling because today I went into a deep one today, and that was a short one. That's why I thought I'd better get on the bed. And luckily, I'm able to imagine if I fall off the chair. What happens if you have people who snore and they're in mute? They're not muted. What happens?
What happens there?
If they snore, if they're not muted.
Well, that's why I think I'm just muting everyone by default, because the problem is you never know what sound is going to show up.
True.
In the background. So it's better in your meditation just to mute everyone, and everyone has a better experience.
Now, what about all these other people? Weren't there going to be 5 of us tonight?
Well, yeah, there's 5 people on the course, but only you've shown up, so well done.
Well,
half of transformation is just showing up.
Yeah, I love that saying. I read it somewhere.
Show up and
things just to show up.
Half of business, anything really, it's just show up.
It's such a true saying, eh?
Just be there, and you want the business, or like in business, just show up and do what you say you're going to do. Remember one motivational speaker I was listening to his talk, and he said, he had a place down on the Vaal River, and so he needed some, I don't know, carpeting or something done. I can't even remember what it was, but some sort of work. So he phoned 3 guys and he said, right, I'm going to be down there this weekend. come on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, whatever, and you know, give me a quote, you know, spec it out, give me a quote. And one of them showed up. 1 out of 3. So, well, you know, he got the job. He just had to show up.
Yeah.
It's kind of sometimes how it
yeah,
works.
that is quite bad in this, was quite bad in this country. I had that when I had my gutters done. I couldn't believe people didn't even bother to come back to you, and gutters is not Mickey Mouse money, you know. And
Yeah, you wonder how they stay in business, you know.
Absolutely.
An attitude like that, how
but now
does that work?
there's no room for that anymore. There's no room for entitlement. It's quite amazing how it's shifted. You know,
Yeah, well, I think when you're
you
back
can't
to the
cruise in
wall-
your job today. People can't afford to carry you. You know, before people tolerated that stuff. It's like we're going back to what it was in the olden days, where you better do your work, or else. But they can't fire them. But at least they'll see who's worth keeping on board.
Yeah, well, I think you know, a bit of accountability is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, you know, what's important is to, you know,
That's my problem. Everything's important, Jonathan.
everything's
Everything is important. Whatever you are dealing with is important. If it's not, then why are you in front of it? Or why are you doing it? Because life's too short. Little time, you know. If you know, someone was talking about somebody and on their Facebook and a whole big story, and they didn't agree with them, and I said, well, you're on their Facebook if you don't agree. It's their Facebook, they're entitled to their opinion. And I thought about it later, and I thought that is such a waste of your life. It's not a waste of time, it's actually your life. If people realized you're wasting your life, not your time, they'd probably think about a lot of things differently.
Yeah, it's a waste of life energy. You know, to get wrapped up in these in these situations. It's very tempting. It's the mind, you know, always wants to go there and judge and create a whole story, and you know, you got to really catch yourself. I mean, I had a situation. I mean, it was minor, but a situation yesterday. So I'll share it because we use the session to kind of check in on whatever's happened. It's an interesting learning situation for me, and I suppose everyone, because we can all learn. So you know, I'm staying at a sort of a resort. It's not really anything 5-star, but it's a kind of mountain retreat resort place during this lockdown. And so I'm a guest here. I'm paying my dues to be here. And they've given me a chair, which actually really worked for me. It was like a sort of wicket chair, and I spent a lot of time working, 8, 10, 12 hours a day behind a computer sitting. Your chair's kind of probably one of the most important things other than your computer.
Yeah.
Because if you've got a bad chair, it's going to hurt your back and neck and shoulder, etc. So they said, a couple of the people who work here just came and said, we're taking the chair, because I said, why? So because the owners are coming to stay, and these chairs belong in their rondovel. I was like, okay, well, no problem. You can take the table. I'm not attached to the table. Give me another table. It's fine. The chair, it's like, let me speak to the manager. So he shows up, and there's no like, well, would you mind? Just like, no, we're taking the chair. And I said, okay, but like, actually, this chair really works for me. It's, and I can almost guarantee you I'm going to use it a lot more than they will. It'll probably be sitting most of the weekend unused as a kind of decoration in their room. And I'm a customer. So he disagreed. He was like, oh, well, I gave you a good deal here, and you got all defensive. And then, of course, you get kind of sucked into it, and I'm saying, well, look, I'm a paying customer. So it's just interesting how the mind kind of sucks you into these things. And I sort of reflected on it afterwards, because I was like, okay, it was a bit of charge, and he ended up judging me. There was a bit of personal insult going on, which is never pleasant. But I guess it's all a projection. So I sort of said, okay, well, it's my lesson. But it's very interesting to notice that what the mind wants to do, because it's the ego just wants you to go there so bad. Well, it wants you to judge. It wants you to go, well, how dare you say that? And blah, 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 you know, and all of this stuff, which really, if you analyze it, just makes you separate. So there's a separation from that other person. There's a separation from source, because there's no love there. It's a very kind of uncomfortable, enturbulated feeling. That's kind of all I can describe it. You know, it's like, and it is just so interesting. Even when I mean, I've been studying the course for a long time, 15 years. You know all the principles. It's a projection. Judgment isn't. You know, judgment's never justified. Fear is not justified in any form, and so on. And yet, still, there's that kind of energy, that entity called the ego that wants to get to you, wants to go, no, go there, you know, and you notice your mind.
It wants to be right. It wants
to be right. It wants to be self-righteous. It wants to judge the other guy. It wants to condemn. It wants to go, how dare you treat me like that? You know, I'm right, you're wrong. And it's just so interesting. You watch your thoughts and you notice, like, it starts down a track, one thought, you start thinking about it, and then it leads to another one and another one.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if you don't have a trained mind, fortunately, it's like, okay, once I'm on, like, you know, thought 2, it's like, whoa, okay, just stop.
Yeah.
Pause, breathe. You don't want to go down there. You don't want to go there. It doesn't matter. So, you know, on the level of form, I was probably right. I don't think you should treat a customer like that. I don't think it's a good thing to run a business like that and, you know, go basically, oh, we're taking your chair because the owner.
Was he the owner?
No, he's the manager, but the owners, you know, owners arrived from Joburg to spend a weekend here. So obviously, you know, he wanted to make it all nice for the owners, because that's their novel, and they've bought the chairs and whatever. But that's prioritizing the owner's needs over the customer's needs, which I don't think is ever a good idea.
It's quite ironic, because he's trying to make the owner feel like the customer, and he's depriving the customer when the owner's making the money out of the customer.
Yeah, which is like shooting yourself in the foot, really. It's like, well,
no, it's bad service anyway.
Well, you know, but so you know, on some level, you can go, like, I thought about it. Should I have said anything? You know, you say I'm taking the chair. I could have gone, yeah, fine. You know, just take the chair.
Yeah,
No,
I think I would have asked.
I'm not going to resist it. I'm not going to resist it. Well, you know, so this is often what it comes down to. You know, on a very practical level, you're like, okay, so nothing really matters. Nothing really means anything here.
Yeah.
So, you know, why get bothered about it? So just let whatever happen. You know, if someone wants to do something that your ego could judge as, you know, not nice, not to your advantage, you know, somehow, you know, making you less than worthy or whatever, you just let it go. You go, it doesn't matter. You know, it's all meaningless. Take it. And I could have done that, but, you know, there's a part of me going, but you know, principally, it's not actually just about me. You know, the
customers in general.
Personality. There's a principle that you should actually first of all ask me nicely. Don't just come and take it. Number one. Secondly,
I think I would have just asked the manager, please may I have this chair? Do you mind?
Well, they're leaving this week, so, you know, I was like, okay, it's 2 days. You know, I can manage for 2 days. But I did try and explain to him. I said, look, dude, you don't understand. If you're sitting for 8 to 10 to 12 hours on a chair, and that chair is uncomfortable, given an hour or two, you can really it starts to really hurt your back and your neck, and, you know, which is obviously what was going on in my mind when I said to him, well, hang on, you know, can I not keep the chair? And I did resist, because I'm going, well, I don't really want, you know, my shoulder and my neck already kind of, I need a massage quite desperately. They're really not great. So I'm going, well, I really don't want to have something that makes them even worse. But then, you know, that's a body thought. If you really look at it, you analyze it from a Course in Miracles perspective, it's about the body and the welfare of the body. It's very easy to get sucked into that, because you're like, well, yeah, of course I don't want to suffer physically. So what I should have done, I should have just gone, okay, you know, I asked him nicely, can I keep it? And he said no. I should have gone, well, okay, look, I don't really agree with that, because I'm the customer. And then when he wanted to go further with it, I should have gone, okay, look, you know, I don't want to argue. It's like, you've made your decision. You obviously don't see it that way. That's fine, take the chair. you get sucked in, because then you're in the argument, and then, well, now I've got to justify myself, and he's got to justify himself, and separation comes in, and you get.
Sounds like he had a bit of a power struggle there. He enjoyed the power thing.
Yeah, I suspect there was part of that. Maybe it's like, okay,
You could have found a chair, I'm sure, some other chair.
Well, he said, have any other chair you want. Go and search around. But the point is, that's not really the attitude, is it? It's like, oh, okay, well, it's your problem then. You go and find whatever chair you want. We take your chair away. I'm bringing you a plastic garden chair in its place, which
I think it's very funny. I'm just thinking of a different sort of client temperament to yours. He could have got hit with that chair if he wasn't careful.
Well, yeah, I think some people might have got really upset.
Yeah.
Like really, like, I mean, the owners I haven't complained to them, because I'm like, well, what's the point? I'm just going to create more drama. But if you wanted to, you could go, okay, right, owners are arriving. Okay, I'm going to complain. This guy just took my chair without asking. He personally insulted me. Do you know what I mean? You could really go to town on the whole thing and make a whole drama out of it. But
then you feel terrible and you waste your time.
It just energizes that whole judgment.
Yeah.
Judgment is never a nice feeling. So
But I would have said, you go and find me a chair. I'm not going to find a chair. You can.
He brought me a chair. I've got a chair. There's another one. It's just not as comfortable. Well, it's iffy. My back's a little sore from 2 days on it. So I wouldn't want to do it all the time. But I was like, all right, well, I'll have to manage for 2 days. So it was just an interesting. Like, I really looked at it and I was like, it's a classic. Because often the spiritual principles are great. Nothing means anything. So what the Course says, nothing I see means anything. Don't judge. And then you get a practical situation like that, and there's a principle involved. That's like, okay, well, I don't believe that's the way you should treat anyone.
That's the first thing. But the second thing is, you do have a back issue. So it's like saying.
Well, I tried to explain that to him, but basically he was saying, I don't really care. I don't really care about your needs. That's not important to me. Which is, isn't really what you want to do with anyone.
That's why I thought you had a power thing.
Or not. You should be like, well, actually, if I can make a plan, okay, I'll ask the owners. I'll ask them if they're okay with it, and if they're okay with it, no problem. But that he wasn't willing to budge on it. It was just like, no, we're taking the chair.
Now, what I always think is, it's not judgmental; it's observation. I always think, imagine living with someone like that. I walk away and think, I'm lucky I don't live with somebody like that.
Yeah, well, as a result, I decided to leave. I was probably going to go at some point anyway, but I shortened my stay. So it's like, well, actually, so then the business just shoots itself in the foot because they lost revenue.
But he doesn't care because it's not his business.
No, it's not his business. He's just the manager, even though actually I'm paying his salary indirectly because only because
but he doesn't care. Now, that's what I mean about entitlement. There are too many people who are in jobs. They're actually shooting the company in the foot.
I guess one of the reasons why I objected, because it's the wrong principle. Do you know what I mean? It's not spiritually correct to think that.
It's not building. It's not a building.
No, you're not actually valuing the customer. You're not valuing the other person. And obviously that's, if you don't value your customer, you can't expect to build value in your business. It's never going to work. And I tried to sort of say that to him, but he just didn't want to, it's like a block. No. I've given you a really good deal. Yeah. I'm like, no.
He's just worried about the money. He doesn't.
I said, well, basically saying, well, you've already got so much from us. I'm like, no, we came to an arrangement. And I'm saying he has a long-term guest. So obviously I'm not going to pay your daily rates. That would be crazy. I think what we came to was a fair deal. So that is as it is. You can't then go, that's a justification for now taking away the chair, But it's just interesting how you get sucked in.
He had a resentment to you because you negotiated the money and he wanted to have the full amount. That's what's happening there, it looks like.
I don't know. I mean, we had another disagreement about something else. So I think maybe there was there was a bit of stuff going on there. But the point is, what was really interesting, like, is how your mind wants to play this over and over again. It wants you to
the loop.
Yeah, it wants, like, oh no, you start thinking about it, and then it's one thought leads to another, and I think this situation, obviously I've had things like this before, everyone has, but I've really noticed, I've really watched my mind and gone, okay, I'm just noticing, as soon as it happens, as soon as there's an ego thought, then there's another one, then there's another, it's one thing leads to another. It's a whole train. You think, well, start thinking about the situation first of all, because now you're in the past, not the present. And then you go, well, why did he say that? And then you start justifying your position. And before you know it, 3 or 4 thoughts down the line, you're actually feeling quite intubulated. It's like it's not a nice, peaceful, happy energy. There's all this disturbance going on inside, and that can happen in 30 seconds, in a minute. It's just amazing how powerful our minds are when they go down that ego track. And that's why mind training is so important, because you are going to get hit with these situations. Everyone has situations where there's potential conflict, where you feel like you haven't been treated right, whatever. That's kind of the human experience. Is we have this friction rubbing up.
I don't like that feeling.
No, it's not a nice feeling.
There's no way to resolve it. That's why you can't change people's personality.
The way to resolve it is, I can't change him, but I can change myself.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, that's what I say. You can't change people's personalities.
No.
You can't persuade that person to see your point of view. They're not going to see it.
No. He's probably not gonna see it ever. But that doesn't matter. So that, instead of getting het up about it and going, I'm right, it's just like, no, I can let it go.
Yes.
And be at peace anyway, because it's over, it's done with. There's no point spinning the situation around in my mind over and over. It's just let it go and find peace anyway. Today brought me something, and I said thank you. I said, no, thanks a lot. So just because I actually, I'm not doing it for him as much as for myself to start with. It's like, well, I want to feel grateful and peaceful and whatever, and that then extends to him. Great, maybe that will help him learn some lessons, maybe not, but that's not my business. So I mean, that was my sort of lesson this weekend. Anything showing up for you? Anything showing up for you?
No, nothing like that. But when I had a situation with a difficult person, and they were so difficult, I had to go via someone else, told to go by someone else by them, and it got more complicated because that person was afraid of losing their job and would even laugh at the person. And eventually I ended up going to the person right above, because that person said go to the person above. And that was up my alley, because I could now have direct communication, brevity, and no misunderstandings and hogwash. It's quite funny. It ended up just on the street. And I kept it brief. I explained to the person what I'd experienced. They know, because they know the personality I was talking about. And so look at life. You eventually end up getting it right with the right person, because sometimes all these people with their power plays, they have their issues, and it's not your issues, so don't get involved in the, you have to, up to a point, because I mean, you have to have your get what you need to get, but you don't have to get sucked in. Like you say, you've got to find ways of. So I just thought, well, when I had to go to the top person, they were trying to inconvenience me, but they made me happy, because I could just write, oh, please, can this go there, or can that? And yes, it was done by an effective, efficient person who's at the top. You know what I mean? So you employ people like the manager who are obtuse, and then you end up with a manager and it gets done quicker. So they do your.
Yeah, well, I actually chatted to the owners, and they're very nice.
Yeah,
we had a nice chat, and they probably, I'm guessing, probably wouldn't have had too much of an issue if they hadn't had one of those chairs in the room. What do you mean, like?
Actually, yeah. I wonder if I was there. What I thought of that, I would have probably asked him, please, may I have that chair? have a back
Well, by
issue.
the time I met them, it was yesterday evening, so I was kind of, well,
Too
they're
late,
leaving.
yeah. Too
Well, they're
late.
leaving tomorrow, so you know,
Yeah.
and obviously, if they'd done that, he would have been right pissed off. That would have been a direct challenge to his authority. So, so that just would have made matters worse between us, because no manager likes to be gone over. They want you to go through them, because they're the power in that.
Well, that's
in
exactly
that
what
little
happened with
patch.
me. They steered me, the manager of the situation steered me to the person under him, and that person was playing a game with me, and then they eventually told me to go to the person above the manager, which I did happily, and they probably thought, well, that'll be once, and then they'll come all the way through us again, and we'll keep rotating this person. But I developed a good relationship with the person at the top, and I can bypass them both. So that's what I'm saying is.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's
also
always a way.
and
there's
truth,
always-
if it's
yeah.
truth as well.
Yeah.
But
If you
yours
really
is
stick to the
difficult.
truth, then I believe that the situation sort of resolves itself in a sort of harmonious way, and that's all a miracle is. That's what the Course in Miracles talks about, is miracle, being a miracle. This is just when somehow that happens and you find a peaceful, harmonious resolution in yourself, first of all, because it starts with you. A real miracle is the shift from fear to love in yourself, but then often that reflects, that shows up in the external situation as well.
Yeah,
So,
I really had to forgive the person, the first person.
yeah. So if you did that, you applied the principle of forgiveness, then you open the way for a higher solution, for something else to come.
Yeah.
And that's really all a miracle is. You've let go. You're not in the judgmental, angry, because that just blocks any kind of resolution. Because actually, what the ego wants is it wants that situation. It wants that apparent justification for your anger, your resentment, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's going to keep it there because it feeds that negativity in you.
Yeah.
So then the situation stays, and as long as it blocks in you, it's reflected in the external. So.
And what have you learned from the Course in Miracles that you can actually say, looking back, Jonathan, for yourself? You've done it a long time.
What haven't I learned? Well, to summarize it in a sentence or two, and I wanted to chat about this. I've really learned what enlightenment is. I think I had all kinds of misconceptions about what enlightenment is, what a miracle is. There's all kinds of false ideas, and that's very prevalent in spiritual circles, esoteric circles. There's all kinds of ideas that are really not what it is at all, and it's taken me a long time. But that's the process. As you work through the course, you start to understand what he's saying, and it's really, really simple. It's such a simple truth. What he's saying is that enlightenment is in you. It's a recognition of your natural state, of who you really are, and that is timeless. That's eternal. That's never changed. It is as it is. All of your mind's miscreations, all these weird ideas, false ideas, negative thoughts, negative emotions, that spin you around in the illusion, are simply not real. They're not really there. And the only thing that is real is that absolute peace, that absolute love, joy. I mean, even you realize words don't even describe it. There's just something there. There's a presence there that's always there, always has been there, can never leave you. And in the end, you go, that's all that matters. That's all that's real. There's really nothing else that I want. There's nothing else that I value. There's nothing else to seek for. There's nothing else to find. And it was always there. So I think there's a Zen saying, enlightenment is a joke. It is, because you go, but it was always there. It's ridiculous. How could I have missed it? It's always been there in me, and yet I missed it my whole life. How is that possible?
And you young,
So you kind of laugh.
old people. I said,
Sorry?
and you young. Can you imagine old people, how they feel? You young still, you got it when you were young. And
Well, I'm 47,
only
so
get-
I'm not sure that,
yeah, but you
I'm
get
not sure that's young,
people-
but I'm middle-aged, yeah. So
yeah, but you get people who only get it like when they're 70.
well, some people never get it. They just never get it. It's not going to happen.
And
in
I
this-
promise you, that's something that's so important to me is peace and harmony. I have got a radar for that with other, if there are personalities that love to stir it up, but I'm gone in the opposite direction because I don't want to get sucked into that, you know. And
Yeah.
they call it, what do they call it? Crazy makers.
Mm.
Crazy
Yeah, that's
makers.
a good word.
You know, the artist way, she puts it that way. And I'm not being judgmental. It just really is what it is. And you just know, don't go there. It's going to be a bunch. And it's like you don't want to waste too much time and energy when you know you're just not going to be equipped to deal with it. Because you're not equipped to deal with it. How are you equipped to deal with a bun fight with someone who wants to?
You know, conflict is a massive waste of energy. It really is.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I mean. But as you get older, you start seeing past the charm with those kind of people. You know, the manipulation. I'm not judging, it's just an observation. And maybe because I've seen so many.
You know, so this brings us to another topic, which is quite interesting, because there's you know, the idea of judgment, and I talked about what you don't want to judge in this situation, but there's a and the Course in Miracles uses judgment in two senses. There's a right-minded judgment of the Holy Spirit that is able to discern the difference between truth and illusion.
Awareness. Yes.
Like it's a discernment. It's like, that's, you know, that's not true. That's not right. Ultimately, that's an illusion. And I need to see that. If I can't see that, there's no way I can make a choice, because that's the only, you know, there's always a choice. You've got the choice between truth and illusion.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's more like a choice.
So you have to judge. You have to judge in order to choose. You have to judge between these two alternatives in order to choose. Now that's when you're judging with the Holy Spirit. That's what you're doing. You're making, you know, a right-minded choice. So that means you choose against the negative, the false, and you choose for the positive, for the real, for the true. And there has to be that choice. You know, some spiritual teachings go, well, it's all okay. You know, God made fear. God, you can't. Okay, well, if it's all okay, then we might as well all go out and, you know, murder each other, and that's okay, because that's, you know, is what it is. You know, there has to be some kind of like, okay, no, that's okay, and that's actually not okay to think that way.
You have to have your own standard. You have to have a standard.
Well, there's an absolute standard of truth. You know, that there's love is true and fear is not. That's the absolute standard. And, you know, if you want to confuse those and you want to make fear true and love false, then you're in your wrong mind, and everything you do and say and act based on that false belief is going to cause you and other people suffering. That's what the Course is saying. You can't decide on truth. Well, you can decide whether you're going to accept the truth or not. That's your decision. You can accept truth or you can accept illusion, but you cannot go, I'm going to make the truth. This is my truth. The truth is true, whether you like it or not. The truth is beyond your judgment, beyond your opinion, you know, of it. It will be true forever, whether you realize it or not. So, you know, that's also been a great realization with the Course. Because before I came to the Course, I mean, I was on a spiritual path and I'd done a lot of personal growth, and I kind of I was seeking. You know, there was something that had awakened in me. I was like looking. Okay, so what is the answer? Like what really? Like I really asked. Like, what is it? I want to know. I really want to know the truth. I want to know what this is all about. I want to know everything. I want to know how this all came about. I want to know, obviously, then who I am. And I think when you have a deep, sincere desire like that, then the truth will reveal itself.
It comes to you. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but you've really got to be sincere, because it's not an easy path. And there are times when you kind of go, oh, what did I let myself in for? Because it's not an easy path. It's not difficult. It's not complicated. You know, the truth is very simple, but it's so radically different from, you know, your normal state of mind and your your previous beliefs, that you're like, whoa, it really goes up against those, and you feel the resistance in your ego, and it doesn't want to let go. And so you feel that conflict. There's a pull between these two forces. One being the ego, which wants you to be separate and individual, and as a human being, and the other is the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, which wants you to wake up from the whole dream. And I'm not a human being. That's not my true identity. I'm spirit. I'm immortal. I cannot die. All these limitations and lacks and conditions that I face in this world are not true. They're not ultimately true. Now it's pretty radical. It's not an easy teaching to accept. But what I've also learned is that there's no other way. There's no other way than to do this.
Yeah, you see,
the highest teaching in all spirituality is non-dual teaching. It says, you can't make love and fear real. You can't try and reconcile them. They don't reconcile. You got to choose.
Yeah.
Which is sort of self-evident when you really look at it. You're like, well, it's kind of obvious, and yet it's not obvious to most people. Somehow everyone goes along, and we sort of fudge that. We're kind of like, well, yes, of course I want truth and I want love and peace and joy, but actually I still want my ego. I still want to be separate. I still want to be individual. I still got my separate goals and needs and wants and desires. And I'd like to have that, but I'd also like to have love and peace and joy. Well, can't have both. That's all the Course is saying. You got to choose. You can't be a separate individual identity and have eternal love and peace and joy. They don't go together. So it makes you choose, and it brings you to a very I suppose a crisis point in your mind. It's like, I've got to choose. I can't fudge this anymore. It's so obvious that I've got to make a choice, a clear-cut decision for one or the other. You can never really make a clear-cut decision for the ego, because you can't ever truly deny truth. So you can go, right, I choose the ego. Yeah, you can choose it in a situation. You can carry on in that choice. But when you see the futility of it, you're going to go, well, where's it leading me? Nowhere. It's just pain, suffering, misery, eventually death. And then I'll come back, do it all again in another body, in another lifetime. So what's the point? I'm trapped in time and space forever. I'm just spinning myself around in these dreams of sin and guilt and fear and attack and judgment and eventually death. And you go, well, what is the point? Over and over and over again, we do that. We've all been coming back, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And I guess in this one, I kind of went, okay, something in me was like, I'm ready. Just show me the way. I want to know the whole deal. I don't want to hold nothing back from me. I want to know the whole truth. And the truth is, as I said, it's simple, but it's not an easy truth for most people to accept, because it undoes everything. It undoes the world. It undoes your illusion of who you are, of, the life you think you have, all of it. And you can go through some times where you just go, what's the point of it all? Why don't I just leave? If it's all meaningless, why hang around? Why stick around for any longer? But the Course answers that as well. It doesn't just leave you in like, okay, truth or illusion. And what he says is that there's a way of living in this dream and being happy. He calls it the happy dream, and that is forgiveness. And actually, that's the process of waking up, because you're not going to wake up straight away. We've been asleep for so long. We've been in this dream for so long, many lifetimes.
Yeah. It's like a habit.
Yeah, and so our ego is programmed. It's so habitual. We've so got these habitual thoughts, habitual emotions, programmed into the body's perceptions. It's a real mind job the ego's done on us. I mean, it's convinced us that it's true and that spirit's not. Basically, illusion is the truth, and truth is illusion. And it's put us in a body, in a world that's apparently real, and it's going, right, that's your reality. That's what you are. Now, deal with it. And of course, part of us goes, really? Like, there's always going to be that part of us that goes, is this really the truth? Or is there something much deeper, much higher that I'm missing? And I think that's, that's the spiritual call, which everyone feels on a level. Everyone feels on some level.
Yes. Yeah.
The world there's something not right. It's not right. Some people just go, well, I'll just cover that up. I'll cover that over, and I'll busy myself with worldly activities, doing stuff, making money, entertaining myself, using substances, distracting myself, watching TV, having sex, taking drugs, whatever to cover that up, because they don't want to really see it. They don't want to really go, okay, so what is that? Because the ego knows that that's the thin edge of the wedge. The moment you start to go, okay, I really want to know what that feeling, what's that about? What's that sort of deeper call, this deep kind of deep-seated discomfort at just being in this reality, because a part of you knows that it's not right, and it'll never be right. It'll never be, this world isn't heaven. It will never be heaven. That's also something that the Course, he's not trying to make the illusion true. He's saying, look, you never fix this place. You're never gonna make it all right, and you're never gonna bring heaven to earth. You can experience heaven within you while you're in a body, and that's the enlightened state. But you're never gonna do away with death and sickness and attack and all the suffering that goes on here. It's part of the ego's thought system. It has to have those things in order to exist. So this is its world. That's what's going to happen. And doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how much technology you create to try and fix these problems, you'll never fix it. Because fundamentally, at the very root of it, it's flawed, because it was born out of a thought that we could be something other than God, that we could be something other than love. That's the fundamental flaw behind the whole illusion. And because it's flawed from the start, you can't fix it. So Jesus is just saying, well, just be sensible, wake up and leave it. Just transcend it, go away. You're not gonna, your home is not the world, you're not human. Just go back into the home, the spiritual home, into yourself. And you need to use your lifetime here to do that, to retrain your mind, so that at the end of your physical life here, your mind is in that enlightened state. Is in that state where you've accepted the truth, atonement, at one-ment. You've accepted only oneness is true. You've accepted that your mind...
I like that, at one-ment. That's a very nice way of putting it.
Yeah. So atonement is enlightenment, is salvation. It's all the same thing. These are just words. It's this acceptance, but true acceptance. Because true acceptance of at one-ment means that there can be no separation. There can be no separate identity, which means my separate identity as Jonathan Quayle and the body and the world that I think I inhabit cannot exist in oneness. It cannot. You cannot reconcile perfect oneness with the idea of separation and the world is created, which means that basically you undoing, destroying the whole ego and its whole thought system and its world. That's what I say. It's quite radical. For most people, they're not necessarily willing to do that. They kind of want a little bit of spirituality. They want some love and peace and joy, but they don't want to go the whole hog and go, okay, well, I'm willing to just let go of my whole identity and let go of my life as I think it is. But you can't have both. As long as you kind of think, well, I can have some love and peace and joy, and I'm also going to keep my separate identity going, you've got a split mind. You've got an irreconcilable split. You'll never reconcile that, because you can't be one and separate. How can you? Oneness is oneness. Oneness is perfect oneness. There's no separation. There's no distinction. Nothing else exists but itself. That's it. And separation means, well, oneness is denied. There is no oneness anymore. Now I'm separate. I've got a separate identity. There's multiple separate identities, and now we, apparently interacting with each other in this illusory world based on separation. You can't reconcile them, and so I guess the Course just brought me to the truth, to this realization that you'll never do it. Could come back in another lifetime, could try another spiritual path, but in the end, you're going to come to the same point where you've got to go, I can't reconcile these. There's no way you'll ever do it. It's impossible. So let me give up trying them impossible and just accept the truth, accept oneness. and be done with it. And, then that's it. The dream's over. Except, you still got a body. You're still going to play out a life here. But, if I died tomorrow, I'd be like, well, so what? It's fine. I'm done. I've done what I need to do. I think maybe I've still got lessons to learn. We all still do.
You've striven to do it.
Yeah, I have. I've dedicated my life to it.
Yeah, you've gone about it with intent.
Yeah, because what the Course is saying really is that's your only purpose here. There's no other purpose. Everything else is false. Your purpose is to wake up, realize who you are, and transcend the illusion. And I've just, I've directed my time and most of my time and energy to that purpose, which I guess is why, at 47, I've sort of woken up to an extent. It's an interesting thing, because I'm not sure you ever, like, while you're in a body, I'm not sure you ever fully are out of the ego. There's always like something there. Like, I just had this situation.
Yes.
It's like, well, if there was no ego, I would have had no reaction at all.
Right.
But I did. There was a reaction. There was some judgment. There was like, but that's then the lesson. That means you've got to process that. You've got to work through that, and that's part of your curriculum here. That's part of your learning while you're here. And so these upsets and these trials and things that difficulties we encounter are there really to help us to undo the split in our mind. And that's the only purpose.
So we're all schizophrenic. So we're all schizophrenics.
Schizophrenic, yeah. So everyone is.
Yeah.
No, anyone who's come here, you can't incarnate, you can't become human unless you have a split mind. If you are perfectly in love as the oneness, you there's no way you can come to a separated world, because you don't believe in separation. It has no reality for you. So by definition, anyone who incarnates here has a split mind. They're schizophrenic. We just don't know it. We sort of somehow think that this is normal. Human life is normal. This world's reality. We're born into bodies. We grow up. We have these lives. And Jesus is saying, no. None of it's normal. This is not normal. This is an insane world. This is a dream that has been created by an insane idea. Which is why it doesn't make any sense. The older you get, I think you do start to look at it and go, like, what? Like, none of this makes any sense, what goes on here. So, we're in this body. We've got to somehow find something to do, find a career, strive, make money, work hard, have family, have kids, have a family, get married, and then kind of go, okay, so I've done all this. I'm now 40 odd or whatever. What's it all for? What's it about? Why am I doing this? What's the point? And that's really where the spiritual awakening starts. Like I said, what's the point? Why am I doing it? Because if you start really asking that and you really want an answer, then you'll be led in a spiritual direction.
I believe if you're sincere and you ask the question, you always get the answer.
Yeah, you'll be led along a path, and then you'll start seeking, as I did, and if you seek, you'll find eventually, because the truth is out there. What I love about the Course is I think it's the clearest exposition of the truth that exists in the world today. I haven't found anything else that's as clear and as simple. There's many other teachings. There's the Advaita Vedanta, which is the Eastern equivalent, a non-dual teaching. It's basically saying the same thing, but there's nothing that's gone this in depth into the psychology of the mind, saying, okay, so how does your mind actually work? How does this whole process that runs your life, how does this actually work? And really, like, just zooms out and gets you to look at it and go, yeah, okay, so that's how it works. So, I think I'm a separate identity. I think I've separated from love. I've given myself this special identity. And now I feel guilty for that decision, because underlying the special identity is the idea that I'm sinful, that I've destroyed oneness. Do you see? That's the whole thing. To be separate, I must have destroyed oneness. So I've destroyed God, which is a terrible thought. It's like, oh my God, I've destroyed, everything that's pure and holy, and now I'm, now I've got this separate identity, which seems to be real, and it seems to be my identity. And I feel underlying this identity, this terrible sense of guilt at what I think I've done. And this is the metaphysics of the Course, which no other teaching really teaches. This guilt, there's this deep-seated sense of sin. That our very identity, our very being here, as separate, is sinful because it denies oneness. And so the guilt that goes along with that is very deep-seated. That we think somehow we deserve to suffer and to be punished, because that's what guilt demands. If you've been wrong, then you must be punished. And then we create a world that acts that out, that seems to punish us in many ways. People do things that we don't like, and governments, and this whole COVID-19 thing, and the lockdowns. It's like we're all like somehow being punished for being bad, for being wrong. And yet we don't even, unless you really understand the metaphysics of the Course, you don't really know why you're wrong. Because you don't really understand the metaphysical source of the guilt. You think it's in the world. You think, oh, well, it's the government that's doing it to me, or the manager that's doing it to me, or my husband, or my wife, or my kids, or my stockbroker, or whoever that's doing it to me, and they causing me this distress and this pain. But actually, it's self-punishment. We've set up the whole insane scenario so that we can get punished by forces apparently outside of ourselves. And then, of course, the ego's justification is, oh, well, it's not me who's doing it. It's this other person, this other outside force that's doing it to me. So I'm the victim. Yeah. Oh, poor me. And of course, that just makes you shrink and makes you contract and makes you more separate. And it keeps you away from love. And this has been going on for a very, very long time. This is the whole human condition. We think we're victims. We think we're bodies. We think we're separate. We think we're alone. We think we can be hurt. We think we can suffer. We think we can die. And within the ego's dream, that all seems to be real, and it's pretty desperate. It's like, well, how do you get out of this? Well, you don't. Within the ego's thought system, there's no way out. If you want to believe that you're separate, then you have to accept all the consequences. There's no, it's going to give you victimhood, suffering, pain, death. It's going to give it all to you, because that's the natural consequence of the thought of separation. So, the Course is the only way out, or a non-dual teaching. You could take another non-dual teaching, but as I said, I haven't found another teaching that is so clear. He really dissects the ego. He says, this is what it is. This is what it does. This is how it works. And then you can start observing it in yourself. It's like going, okay, I can see, like if I'm feeling upset, okay, why am I feeling upset? Well, because I feel like someone's attacking me, so I feel fear. Why do I feel fear? Because I feel separate. I feel like somehow my separate interests can be damaged, but there is no separate interest. I can't really be hurt. Even if someone's trying to hurt me on a body level, I'm not my body, so I can't really be hurt. My true identity is formless and timeless and eternal, so I can't fear anything when I'm in that. And so that's what he's trying to take us into. While we're still in the body, just to know, like, there's a presence there that's eternal. You can't attack timeless presence. It's impossible. It just is. It's beyond attack. It's beyond, all these thoughts of the ego. But to realize that, to wake up to that fully is, that's the journey. That's all we're here to do. So I hope that answers the question in 20 minutes.
They should,
quite a long answer.
They should just hypnotize us at school.
Well, I think it's a journey. You've got to live your life.
It's true, though. Everything, whatever goes on, you can know that it's you who has to, your choices and how you react to it is how you eventually end up dealing with it.
And that's the only basis. Any valid spiritual teaching says the same thing. It's not about what's happening outside. It's about your reaction, your perception of it, and your interpretation of it, and your reaction to it. How are you going to respond or react? That's what you've got control over. You don't have control over what's happening outside directly, But
Yeah.
if you, if you really are willing to let it go, and you're really willing to forgive, to let go of, your own negativity, then often circumstances outside can change. And so that's the way that you can have some control, but it's not your own little control. It's not your ego trying to control it. It's by letting go and kind of handing it over and saying, okay, well, like my job is to let go in the situation and not judge and not get upset. And if I do that, I'm trusting that there's a power way, way beyond my little conscious awareness that can work a miracle in the situation. I don't even know how that looks. I don't even know how
that's why that saying hand it over, it's really like that, because you just you say, well, I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to say, forget it, this guy, forgive him, and really forgive him and move on, and don't have that feeling in yourself when you see the person. Forgiveness.
That's how you know.
Move past it, and you don't bubble and boil inside like and that loop, that silly loop that goes on in your head. It goes.
Exactly. Experience some of that this weekend. It's like but,
and you can't, you know you're in it, and you can't stop it. It's horrible.
Unfortunately, I can stop. I'm like, okay, whoa, just.
Well,
just
now I can, especially for small things, but things it's harder. I find so you don't get it all right, straight away. But at least I think boundaries, forgiveness, the loop, managing the loop, if I can call it that, because sometimes you get it right, sometimes not. Discernment, when you see it coming.
It's being aware. I'd say the key thing is to have that awareness, to be able to zoom out and go, okay, I can see, I can watch my thoughts, I can see what's happening here, I can see where it's taking me, and I don't want it. So I'm willing to.
Yeah, you see where it's taking you.
I'm willing to withdraw from this, and I'm willing to remind myself, using a spiritual idea. That's why there's 365 lessons in the Course in Miracles workbook. It's to remind yourself to go, okay, remember the truth. Don't forget it, because there's no exceptions to the truth. And you can use your breath, and you can do a little breath break. That's why I send the breath breaks and stuff, because it just helps you to stop, to interrupt the pattern and go, no, I'm not going there. And so you build that awareness, because that's the first step. I mean, there's only really 2 steps to letting go, if you boil it down to its absolute essence. The first one is awareness. You've got to be aware of your thoughts and your emotions. If you're not aware, then they're just going to suck you in, and you just, the ego's got control, and you just going down the track, and it's using your mind, and it's creating all this mental and emotional disturbance, and there's no other awareness. It's just like you sucked into that, and you down the dark hole, and that's you. So the first step is to start creating that awareness. So, hang on, okay, I can zoom out of this a bit. I can. There's another part of my mind that can look at this and go, no, like this isn't right. I don't want to do this. I want to zoom out of it. And then the second part is the letting go. Okay, once I'm aware that this isn't really what I want, this isn't serving my best interests at all, I can now start to let go of the thoughts and the emotions. And the emotions are the trickiest ones, because it's like, ooh, it kind of gets you turbulated, and the ego wants to juice them. So doing some breath work and doing the meditations that I send you can really help, because it just kind of gets around the ego. It sort of takes you into a deeper state where you've sort of transcended that. And when you're in that state, you've already let it go. You've let go of the block. You're not in the judgmental, inturbulated thought system of the ego anymore. And then you come back to normal consciousness, and you go on with your day, and somehow that resistance, that judgment, whatever was turbulating you, is not as prevalent. It might come back and show up again, but every time you get around it, and you do some forgiveness, and you do it in a very meditative way, then you just lessen its power. You lessen its hold. I think if you try and come at these things directly, and you went, okay, so maybe I'm aware of this, and then you go, right, I want to just let it go. that's quite hard to do if you're in your normal state of consciousness, because you're kind of so in it and your mind's in that interbulated state and you're feeling the emotions that it's very difficult to do. So you have to change your state first. So you change your state with the meditation and the breath work, go beyond it, and then it's much easier. And that's why they invented these things. That's why they've been around for thousands of years, because they work, because they're ways of getting around the mind blocks that the ego creates. And then the more you get around it, you just kind of lessen its defenses, and eventually it just starts to dissipate. And then in conscious awareness, you can go, okay, I notice it, it shows up, I can let it go.
Yeah.
Because I've got, all of that mind training that I've done in the meditation just really helps me not to get so juiced up about it, and not to let the mind go spinning at 100 miles an hour, and not feel those negative emotions. And so I can just drop it all.
I must say that I'm so grateful that I am getting those. So if I think about my accident, but that bad accident I had, it's the best accident I've ever had. Not that I've had many. And I got out calmly and started taking photographs because a woman wouldn't get out of the car and she was saying, find the police. I just calmly went about everything. It was amazing. I was younger. I'd probably almost be in tears or something. I mean, your emotions grow into something stronger.
Yeah. So that's a great example. Like if you do spiritual practice and then you face a difficult situation, you'll handle it much better. You'll just be more in flow. You were in flow, you were calm, you were poised, you were in flow, and you were able to deal with the situation effectively. Whereas, if you get all upset and turbulated, then you're not going to deal with it effectively. You're going to be upset, you're going to argue with the person.
It just takes longer to do everything.
Well, it takes longer. It's much less effective. Yeah. Basically, the ego is using the situation to juice itself, to get all those emotions going, and cause you a lot of distress. And those chemicals that get released when you're stressed.
I always feel sorry for people with a very emotional temperament. I feel very sorry for people with an emotional temperament, because I always think they're going to have a heart attack. You work for a boss who's volatile or something. They're going to have
at some point, their anger is going to come back. They're hurting themselves. And the more they feel that anger, the more those chemicals get produced, it has a very deleterious effect on the physical body, on your health, if that's your kind of default state. And so you age quicker, you're much more prone to all kinds of diseases, heart attacks, strokes, just minor complaints. You're more likely to get a cold, to get sick, your immune system gets lowered. So you're just really attacking yourself, which is not very clever at all when you realize what you do. It's like, it doesn't, but you see, the ego doesn't want you to see that. So no, it's them. I'm attacking them. No. That anger is actually self-attack. The ego doesn't want you to see that, but you're attacking your own mind, your own body. And if you keep doing that, well, you're going to suffer the consequences, which sometimes are what people have to do to wake up, to kind of go, okay, now I'm really suffering, and I'm sick, and and maybe now I'm willing to listen. Go, actually, okay, maybe I need to do something about this anger thing, because it's not really helping me. It's not serving me at all.
I actually was on a course, a boundaries course, and this girl on the course, I'll never forget. She was young. She said she had such bad road rage. She'd had a very difficult background.
Yeah.
She described her road rage. I actually couldn't even comprehend myself going through that every time I was angry in the traffic. And she said the boundaries course helped her. Helped her, I suppose, she did certain things in her life, and then it impacted on the whole of her life, so she wasn't so angry all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it does, because the anger is it's not really about, the taxi driver cutting you off. That's not what it's about.
No, it's a whole lot of other stuff.
That's just the trigger for that rage that's sitting in her, to come out, and it's just the justification the ego needs. Oh, right. The volcano erupts, rage, anger, and the problem is the anger, and what underlies the anger is a sense of being a separate self, and the sin and the guilt that comes with that, and the fear of punishment. It's all tied up, and that's why I say the Course is so brilliant, because he really gets you to see, okay, this is how it works. This is how the ego is made up of all these different components. They're not really different, but they're different aspects of one thought system, and they all feed into each other. And as long as you believe you're a separate person, you are going to have guilt, and you're going to have fear, and you're going to get angry, because that is the consequence of believing in separation. There's no other way out than to drop the idea of separation. That's what he's saying. So there's many teachings that can be helpful. You can do a course that teaches you to manage your anger, to maybe do some breathing, but in the end, to really get to the root of it, you've got to go into the metaphysics, and you've got to really go deep into the psychology, and figure out in your own mind, okay, this is the source of it. This is why I feel guilty. This is why I get angry. This is why I judge. This is why I do these things. And when you really understand that, then it's over. The ego's got nothing to stand on. It's like, I get it. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's an insane idea. And I don't believe it anymore. And that's all enlightenment is. It's like that, just, yeah, I get it. Like I'm actually one. I'm not separate. I'm not human. I don't have to make any of this stuff work. That's this world work, because it's never going to work. It's not made to work. That's a great realization. Like it's never going to work. So stop trying to fix the world. Stop trying to fix stuff outside of yourself. As Jesus says so well, seek not to change the world, but seek to change your mind about the world. You can't fix it.
Yeah, that's
so many people are trying to do that, but you can't fix it. So fix your mind. Fix the problem which is in your own mind, and then maybe some miracles show up while you're here, and you can have quite a happy dream, and you can spread the light and be the love, and so on. And that's all you can do. And then your dream's done, and you go back to source. You go back to oneness. And in the dream, the world will continue. There'll still be minds trying to wake up, but your dream is over, and you're now one with the Spirit. You're one with Jesus. You're one with all the enlightened masters, and then you become part of the atonement, or that one-ment. You're trying to help everyone else to wake up, because it's the only thing to do. Which is very peaceful when you go, okay, that's it. I don't have to make this work. I don't have to make my separate identity in my life work. As the ego says I should, because it's impossible. I'll never make it work. It's not designed to work. That's very liberating. I mean, on some levels, you can go through depression and go, oh my God, and that's a phase of awakening. But like when you really get it, you go, oh my God, how freeing is that? I don't have to make it work. I'm free from this same idea that I have to make my life work, and I have to do this to make it succeed. And I've got all these goals and dreams, and you've said it's impossible. You'll never do it. You'll never make it work, because it's not designed to work. The only way to make it work on some level is forgiveness, is letting go, and finding that peace that passes all understanding. And then actually you can have some quite happy experiences here. You can flow with things, and you're using the world for what it's for, which is your awakening. That's all it is for, is to reinterpret it through the eyes of the Holy Spirit, so you wake up rather than stay asleep and stay in the pretty hellish state that the ego's put you in.
Interesting. Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, well, my pleasure. Glad to share that with you. That's sort of our. Let's just finish off with just a little bit of reading on. It's actually a very short. Hazel left, so
Did
I
she
don't know.
bomb out? Did she just bomb out in the middle?
I don't know if she left at the end of the meditation, or because when I came back.
See a leave. Okay.
No, well, I was reading, so I'm on another screen. So sometimes she leaves before the meditation's over. Maybe she just wanted the meditation. So the discussion is, well, it's, it takes you a bit deeper. So it's not just the meditation. It's going into some of the metaphysics of the stuff. Okay, so let's just do the introduction. I'm going to share my screen. It's a nice way to finish this. It's just a paragraph, so but it's a nice kind of summation of what we discussed. Okay, so let's share my screen. Okay, what's that happening? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see the text, Introduction to A Course in Miracles.
No, it just says Jonathan Quayle has started.
Oh, right, so still trying to do
It
it.
hasn't got the thing up yet.
Yeah, it's not responding. Okay, sometimes it does this. Doesn't like the screen sharing thing. Okay, well, I'll just read it. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, that's fine. Yes.
So, Introduction to A Course in Miracles.
Hello. Hello. Jonathan. Hello. You there? Hello.
It's
Are you coming and going, Jonathan? Can you hear me? Hello. 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 Hello.
okay. I'm still live on YouTube. Okay, well, I'm just gonna finish the session. So let's try the screen sharing thing again. So working this time. There we go. Worked that time. So just to conclude the session, this is A Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. So what Jesus, who's the author of this, is saying is that this is required, whether you do it through the format of A Course in Miracles or anything else. There is a universal call to awaken from the dream. And there are many, many ways of doing that. There's many spiritual paths. Personally, I believe this is the best way, otherwise I wouldn't be studying it. But there are other ways. And only the time you take it is voluntary. So the course is set, the truth is true. You are going to wake up at some point. When you take the course is your free will. So you can do it now, you can wait 5 years, you can wait for another life. But at some point, you will choose to take the course because it's required. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. Okay, that's beyond our establishing. Truth is true. It's beyond us to establish the truth and establish the curriculum, which is to learn the truth. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. So what do you want to learn now? Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. So he's saying, setting the boundaries, saying, I can't teach you the meaning of divine love. That cannot be taught. That experience will arise when you're ready. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. So that is the goal of the course. When you set the framework, you said it's about removing these blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. So love is our natural state. It's our true self. The opposite of love is fear. Apparently, in this world, love has an opposite. We call it fear. But what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. So this is a classic Course in Miracles statement. It talks about duality in the first part of the sentence. There's apparently duality, apparently an opposite to love. But what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. So it lifts you from the dualistic worldview of love and fear, being in opposition to something all-encompassing, transcendent, that has no opposite. And that's the only way out of duality. So you have to transcend it and go to that which has no opposite, that which is non-dual, in other words. There's not two, there's only one. Love is singular. It's not more than one love, there's only one love. So this course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And it's kind of like a Zen koan. You can say that many times. I've contemplated these words many times. Nothing real can be threatened, nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. And see something different every time. You're in a different state. But it's just a statement of the truth. And if you really understood those three short sentences, then you would be enlightened. You wouldn't need to do the course. But we don't. So that's why we have a 1,300 page course to really get us to deeply understand what that means. Nothing real can be threatened. So whatever's real, love, truth, peace, joy, oneness, can be threatened. It can't be threatened because it's formless. It's not something that can be attacked or threatened in any way. And nothing unreal exists. So the unreal idea that we can somehow be something other than love, we can be fear, we can be anger, hatred, we can attack, we can judge, doesn't really exist. It's not a real thought. These are not real thoughts, real emotions, real experiences. Any experience that comes from the unreal must also, by definition, be unreal. It has no true existence. And herein lies the peace of God. So when you understand these two fundamental truths, nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists, then you have the peace of God. And the peace of God is a transcendent peace. It's not reliant on any circumstances, any one or anything in this world. It's permanent. It's an eternal state. And so it's the only thing to go for, really, because anything else, if you want some kind of temporary satisfaction, what you call happiness in this world, it's can be disturbed at any point because it's reliant on some kind of external condition, which is guaranteed to change at some point. The one thing you can be sure about in time is that nothing stays the same. Things are changing all the time. So how can you rely on such a thought system? It's based on constant shift and change. This is what the Course is saying. You can't. You will never find peace if you attach your mind to the ephemeral, to the temporary. The only place you can find peace is in a transcendent eternal oneness that cannot be threatened by anything. And so that is a little summation, a little introduction, a little summary of A Course in Miracles. If you're interested in taking a deeper dive. I'm doing a masterclass this Thursday on how to let go. It's all about the art of letting go. How do you let go of fear in a matter of minutes? And that's an ability you can develop. In fact, it's the only ability that is really worth developing. How do you let go of fear or any negative thought or emotion in a matter of minutes and find authentic happiness, not this temporary, quickly changing, quickly fading satisfaction that the world can give you? It's much, much deeper than that. Authentic happiness is this timeless peace that is not dependent on any external conditions. Fulfilling flow. So how do you stay in a state of flow and actually be poised and calm and peaceful in whatever it is that you have to do in this world? Because we still have to act while we're apparently in human bodies, living these lives. A sense of higher purpose. So what's it all about? This is the quest for meaning. Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl wrote a book after his experience in World War II in a concentration camp. And there's a whole branch of psychology founded on this idea of meaning. What is it all about? And we all crave that meaning. We want some kind of transcendent meaning for our lives. It helps us to find meaning in an often seemingly meaningless world. And wonderful well-being. So if you can get all that right, and you can find authentic happiness, and you can find flow in your daily activities, in your daily life, and in doing that, you find a sense of a higher purpose because you're learning your lessons, you're feeling like you're expanded, like you're giving love, and you're receiving it as well, then all of that amounts to a sense of well-being, that you feel well in yourself, well as your being, because you are connecting with your being, your true source. And then you can thrive in any situation. So even in a difficult situation, a lot of people are facing difficulties now with the coronavirus and the lockdown really is what's creating the major difficulties for a lot of people. You can thrive. You can find a way to be poised, to be calm, to be peaceful, and find a way to transcend those difficulties in your mind. That's the first step. And then secondly, maybe you get inspired to take some action. Maybe something just happens, something changes, something shifts in your dream to help you to get out of that difficult situation that you're in. And that is what A Course in Miracles would call a miracle. When you do that, you shift internally, and there's an external shift. That external shift is there to show you that actually your internal shift made a difference, had an effect. And so it's a learning device to teach you that actually this is what you want, and you want to continue on this path. You want to continue being able to let go of your negativity, your judgments, everything that blocks the awareness of your happiness, of your flow, your purpose. And you can do all of this without having to resort to the normal means. So you don't have to read any more motivational books. You don't have to go to any workshops, any seminars, any retreats. You don't have to take pills. You don't have to go to psychotherapy. You don't have to think hand sanitizer or anything on a physical level is really what's going to protect you, because it's not. It's finding that eternal safety in your mind. And so that's what I'll be talking about. Art of Letting Go masterclass Thursday evening at 7 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. SA time. You can go to theaolg.com. I'll stick that in the text in the post below this video. So there's a link to register so you can join me live in the Zoom room. I will also be broadcasting it live on YouTube. So subscribe to my channel and you'll be notified about the event. I'll stream it live on YouTube. So hope to connect with you then. Have a nice evening and weekend in the meantime. Rest of your weekend's nearly over, and wish you a very peaceful week ahead. You can actually join, one other thing, you can join free meditations that I run twice a day at 12:30 UK time, 1:30 SA time, and then in the evenings at 5 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. SA time. On some days, that's Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and the other days, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, it's a little bit later. It's at 7 p.m. UK, 8 p.m. South African time. So you can join those free meditations. I'll be streaming one of them live on YouTube, but if you want both of them, just go to freemeditations.online and sign up, and you'll get access to the Zoom room, and you can join in and get a 15 to 20 minute meditation in the afternoon just to re-energize you, refresh you, and in the evening go a bit deeper. It's 25 to 30 minutes generally. If you listen to this whole session, you would have experienced that. So thank you for listening. I hope to connect with you soon. Check out my post below for those links to the sites I mentioned, freemeditations.online and theaolg.com is where you can find out more and register for the masterclass. And I'll leave it at that. Peace.